going against the grain. Like, I loved it when Axl Rose didn't show up to the Hall of Fame and sent a note saying, "Not only am I not showing up, you're not allowed to say my name."
Hey, this is TBK here, Turnbuckle King. Got another episode of Locker Room of Wrestling News. It felt like it was just yesterday. We was just hit the lockers, but in fact, it was yesterday. But so much news today. Got to cover this again. Maybe have a duplicate of yesterday's news on December 4th. Once again, I have some assistance on this stories. That's Mr. Goodbread. With that being said, we're going to cover each story, give our intake on that, then we'll get right into it. Let's start off with the first story of the day. All right, now yesterday, I talked about major superstar's wife to return after 22 months to align with Bayley against Damage Control, exploring potential teasers. Now, this is Bayley Damage Control where they tease a split. They said a major WWE superstar's wife could return for the first time in 22 months to help Bayley. The heel faction debuted on the main roster on Raw, following a Raw Women's Championship match at SummerSlam 22 when Bianca defeated Becky to retain the title. The heel faction surrounded her in the ring. Becky Lynch turned babyface, stood by the EST side. Damage Control retreated. Now, since then, Damage Control has been one of the most powerful factions on the roster. Io Sky is the reigning WWE Women's Champion. Both Kairi Sane and Asuka have recently joined the group. However, Bayley appears to be caught off guard by the recent additions. It could be on her way getting forced out of the faction, as I stated here before on the Locker Room, and also on my Friday Night SmackDown reviews on Red Carpet Ring. Says here earlier today, which I mentioned yesterday, Mickie James defended the former champion against her husband. She admitted that Bayley was a favorite. Roll responded by telling SmackDown to listen to this woman. Now, I did state yesterday that Mickie James said that Bayley's not that hot. Made a little nasty comments, but now she's saying that it's her favorite and she's the role model. They said if Damage Control could force the 34-year-old out the group, she could align with a returning Mickie James to take down the group. Now, there's been tension with the faction ever since Io handcuffed the Damage Control leader to Becky Lynch to win the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match on July 1st. I remember that. Bayley was also a superstar who got pinned during the Women's War Games match, which I have said, and Mr. Goodbread said too, that Bayley was the MVP of that match and helped out her faction the best way possible. It could have caused more friction with stablemates. Now, Mickie James not appeared with the promotion since 2022 Women's Royal Rumble match. Her last match was against Trinity, formerly known as Naomi, for the Impact Knockouts World Championship at Bound of Glory 2023. Yes, that is true. I saw that match in the event. Great event. And the tweet says here, Bayley says, yeah, listen to your woman. P.S. Love you, Mickie. Could this be a tease for Mickie James, despite her making comments about Bayley, saying that she's not that hot right now, to be an ally to Bayley following the potential or eventually get kicked out of group of Damage Control? So let's see what that is. I believe that Bayley will come back, not only by herself when she gets kicked out of Damage Control. She's going to have not only Mickie James, but a returning Sasha Banks, now known as Mercedes Moné, and maybe one other member. We got to take into account, too, that Dakota Kai suffered injury, and this was around the draft time in April 2023. It's only a matter of time when she returns and get healed up from injury, and she's going to side with the team of Damage Control. I don't think she's going to align herself with Bayley. Like I said, she tore her ACL. Now, I know that's normally a 9 to 12 month injury, but if that happened back in April and we're in December, we're looking at 8 months. So she's probably going to work her way up, getting healed soon, or she's probably training and we don't even know about it, and work her way to recovery. She is still making appearances, however, but not only do I think that, that's my opinion. Let's see what Mr. Goodbread has to say. Welcome, Mr. Goodbread, to the locker room.
Salute, man. How y'all feeling, guys? But yeah, man, you're on point, man. I really don't got nothing to piggyback off of or add. You touched on everything. This is a way for Mickey James to wiggle on in, slide right on in. You know what I mean? Because we know that nepotism, it ain't about what you know or how you wrestle. It's about who you know and timing. And timing is there now.
Point taken, point taken. Like I said, you heard it here first. Expect Mickey James to make a WWE return, and this is following because not just her tweets with Bayley, but also her husband is the SmackDown GM storyline, but off screen a backstage producer. Now she stated earlier that she was glad her husband turned down the AEW role due to traveling, being away from the family. However, he did join WWE, the number one promotion for pro wrestling. So travel's going to be way more deeper than AEW. But I think she uses as a ploy, use her husband's power and his his reputation to get back to WWE, as Mickey James was a WWE superstar previously, and she had 2 runs. But you can see her back, and she will help Bayley out. It won't just be Sasha Banks; it will be Mickey James to help her. I think she'll come back even before Sasha Banks come back. So she's getting beat up by Damage Control, and you need that cheering for Sasha Banks. Expect Mickey James to run on through. But that's all I have regarding that story. There are more stories to cover. We are in the lockers right now. We got to move on to the next story in the locker room. So bear with me as I pull up the next story.
Don't forget to hit that like button, guys. And if you're new over here, hit that subscribe button, guys. Word up. Man, now would be a great time to start all of this women's tournament stuff, all of this women's only pay-per-view, because WWE definitely have a lot of women talent. And back when they was trying and attempting all of these things, they didn't have the women talent. Interesting.
Okay. Next story we have here that Randy Orton, alleged killer, says here that he was unsure if he would be able to wrestle again. Feels like he got a second lease on career. Let's see what it means by that. Randy Orton discusses time away from wrestling. He took 18 months off from May 2022 to November 2023 to undergo spinal fusion surgery to get healed up. Orton was in the middle of a tag team run with Matt Riddle when they lost the WWE Raw Tag Team titles to the Usos, putting Orton on the sidelines. Now, he returned to Survivor Series, fully recovered from his injury. He competed in the War Games match for the men's, in which they won. He quoted, "I feel like I'm the only guy that's never left and come back other than John Cena. I'm going to be here for the rest. This is me. I'm not moving on to Hollywood. I love what I do. I just had 18 months off recovery from a spinal fusion. I was kind of faced with the fact that I might not be able to do this again. It's almost like I got a second lease on my career here. I'm not going to take a day for granted, not a second in that ring for granted, even now more so than the matches that you were seeing a year ago or when you first started a couple years ago. I'm feeling even more in my element now," he stated on an interview with Impulsive Logan Paul. Now, Logan Paul mentioned Orton looks in great shape. He said, "I changed a lot of stuff in the last 18 months. He needed the time." He said, "When I would sit, I had a disc slipping every time I would bend. On the plane sitting here, my feet would go numb, and I had pain shoot down the legs." Man, that's terrible, man. Orton was really in pain. It really sucked. It was really hard. That last year before I had to leave because of the back, I was a tag team with former WWE superstar Matt Riddle. I had to give him props because that year we tagged together. I was not be able to be in the ring unless I was in there with someone like him. He was able to take the brunt off the physicality. He tagged me in. I come in, do my shh. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't made it that far. I had some great doctors. They fixed me up right. They didn't cut through any muscle, which would enable me to get back in the ring. Once you start cutting muscle, that's never going to heal back. You're done. I'm blessed all the way around. And as we know, Matt Riddle was released by WWE in September. But Randy Orton, it was a lot of speculation. Would he wrestle again? And we are glad to see that Randy Orton is back in the ring for a year and a half being away. And he recently just signed with SmackDown. And afterwards, he gave an RKO to Nick Aldis. And he's going to feud on with, the Bloodline, and of course, feud on with Roman Reigns and compete for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. But it's great to see that Randy Orton is back, and I don't know how much more time he has left. He say he not gonna take a day for granted. I got a feeling that Randy Orton only got a few more years left to go the way he wants to. He's gonna eventually have to slow down and just stop, unfortunately. But he's had a hell of a career. He's been wrestling since 2002. So we're looking at 21 years, going on 22 years of wrestling for the WWE. Wrestled in one promotion, never wrestled at TNA, not AEW, not going to Hollywood. I mean, besides John Cena going to Hollywood, John Cena stayed around, obviously, but he's still here. But I'm glad he's able to wrestle again. I didn't know he's in that much pain that his feet were numb and this was slipping. How do you feel about that, good Brett?
Man, Randy is great, and it's great to see Randy back. I'm happy for him. I know that was a tough injury. You know, your knees, your wheels, and your back, you can't play with. So I know he came back from something big, and it's great to see him back. Like I said, it sucks that he's kind of getting overshadowed by CM Punk's return, but hey, you know what I mean? Randy Orton got about, to me, 3 more weeks of the ooh and the ah and the nostalgia, and then he'll be just like one of the guys if he's not in a storyline, if he's not in an interesting storyline. So, you know what I mean? Other than that, it's good to see him back.
Absolutely. Like I said, I don't feel like Randy Orton has much more time in the ring, unless he changes finisher just to the Punk kick and not doing an RKO, which you of course land on your back, which is he had surgery. He only got a few years left. He gonna do the RKO. Now, if he changed a little more of his wrestling style, I know he's stronger. He's been bulking up. That could help him a little bit. That could help him, but if he stop doing the RKO and change the finisher, he ain't gonna wrestle that much longer. I give him 3 years tops.
You're right though, KDH. They can even TBK. They can even weave it in the storyline. They can ban the RKO.
Yeah,
they can have Nick Aldis ban the RKO.
Especially after what he did to him last week.
Exactly. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Look, breaking news. That might be seeds planted for them to ban the RKO, which will extend Randy Orton's career because now he'll have to go to the Punk kick.
Yeah, or go to or add another finisher that will require him falling on his back. Something. Now I want to make a side note. I know he's not nowhere near Randy Orton's level, but the reason JBL was able to wrestle as long as he did because he had the clothesline from hell's finisher. Clothesline from hell, that is not going to take years off your career. Let's be honest. He's just doing a clothesline.
Legend killer days. So I think that'll extend his career.
Absolutely. That's all we have regarding Randy Orton. If he was sure to wrestle again, but it's good to see him back. But with that being said, we'll move on to the next story. Bear with me. Let me get that going.
How you guys doing today? Make sure you hit the like button. If you're new over here, subscribe and hit the bell so you get all the notifications.
All right, next story. Maven. Maven said CM Punk had heat in WWE before he was signed with the company. Maven reflects on wrestling CM Punk in one of Punk's first televised matches in WWE. As you can see in this photo, this is a very, very young Punk. This is a way before the cult of personality, even before he was in ECW. In terms of legacy, CM Punk and Maven could not have been more far apart. The same can be said for different paths that both men took to get to WWE. However, in April 2005, Maven and Punk paths crossed in a tag team match on WWE Sunday Night Heat. He said he teamed with Simon Dean against Punk and Russell Simpson on the episode of Heat that aired April 17, 2005. Maven reflected on work with the future WWE champion. It would cost Nova to take extra care of Punk and going against an order to pin Punk to end the match. Honestly, I didn't know who Punk was, and I quote from Maven, I did know that he carved out a pretty good niche for himself on the independent wrestling scene and has somewhat of a name. So I knew going into it that he was going to be a good worker. This is pro wrestling, and you're always gonna go to adhere to the veteran. In this case, the veteran was by far Simon Dean. Now, Simon Dean wrestled ECW as Nova. He had years in the business over all of us in the ring, said. Then he explained how the former Nova direct traffic and ordered Louder to disobey a direct order to defeat Punk in the bout. One thing management wanted, they wanted us to get the pinfall victory on CM Punk. For whatever reason, I have no clue. I mean, he wasn't even assigned talent at the time, but he already had heat in the company. There were already feathers that he had ruffled. I don't know how, and I don't know whose. Nova saw differently. Nova wanted to get a guy a chance. Simon was always a good gouge of talent. He might have known that Punk, for whatever reason, had heat backstage. And he was just doing everything in his power to protect it, knowing if there was any trouble to be had, it was going to be all of us. It was going to fall on all of us, and by us I mean Simon. He asks. So the question remains: How do we not get in trouble for disobeying the right orders? Therein lies the genius within Simon Dean. Simon, knowing they wanted to get the pinfall to be on Punk, also knew during that time we were going to have time cues to hit. So he said by telling Punk, I hit you on the floor. See, I don't want to read the rest of this. I read long enough. But it says Russell was right there. We had to get the 1, 2, 3 pin on him because Punk was on the floor. So the management, it was like a miscommunication and improvisation by us, when in reality it was all thought ahead of time, but it created an assignment system. Punk is now back at WWE. In his return promo, he called WWE his home. Punk said he's spiritually living in that moment. Wow, I did not notice. This is new information. So, oh man, I did not know that. I didn't know that Simon Dean went against orders to have Punk to do the thing with Punk to be pinned. What's your take on this, good Brad?
That's interesting. I never knew that. I know Punk always was fighting. He was fighting an uphill battle when it comes to WWE. And that's documented. That's well documented. Punk, you know what I mean? He lucked up, got in right timing, and you know what I mean, found his way to the top. He did it on his own. You know what I mean? He wasn't handed anything. So we know that, but I didn't know. This was interesting.
Yeah. I know CM Punk's with Ring of Honor, and he cut a promo, has said he signed a WWE contract, on the storyline with ROH, but I did not know there was heat for, in the tag match with him and, of course, Simon Dean, as he stated. Said the tag team match was Simon Dean and Maven versus Punk and Russell Simpson. So that's crazy. If you look at the story here, yep, they disobeyed direct order to defeat CM Punk. That's crazy. They wanted to make Punk look good. They said they protected him, so They wanted to make it look like it wasn't Punk's fault or it was just improvised, but it was even planned the whole time. That's crazy that Simon didn't came up with that plan. Very interesting story. That's something you have to learn then. Well, maybe I know his channel's doing very well, and he's tell very interesting stories about his time being in WWE because he wrestled from 2001 to 2005. But I did not know that Punk was his first opponent arriving in WWE in a tag team match. So, salute to Maven. Keep doing his thing. Now, with that being said, that's the end of this story. We will got a few more stories to cover. One more story before we get into the main event, though. So please bear with me and pull that story up right now. All right. So Chris Jericho appeared on the episode of Insight with Chris Van Fleet. He said that he discussed a variety of topics, but he mentioned one particular thing, that was the Hall of Fame. Now, he mentioned here that it's not no big thing to him. Let's see what he said, and I quote. As a matter of fact, he says that he's not going against the grain, and he said he understands the point of a Hall of Fame. He said that it's not a big thing to him, but I know there's a clip of this. I believe we can get that. If production truck can get that. Let's see if there's any way we could pull that in, and I will play the clip right now.
But do you think you'll be inducted in the WWE Hall of Fame?
I always like going against the grain. Like, I loved it when Axl Rose didn't show up to the Hall of Fame and sent a note saying, not only am I not showing up, you're not allowed to say my name. I love that shit. Like, that's fucking rock and roll, man. So I don't really understand the point of a Hall of Fame. Like, if you think I'm in it, that's great.
Of course you're in it.
There's no real Hall of Fame. It's all kind of in WWE's mind, in their chambers of the mind, you know? And, you know, I mean, it's does it really matter if I'm in it or not? Like, I go up there and give some approved speech where.
So, Chris Jericho believes that there's no use of being in the Hall of Fame. He said he don't understand of it. Now, he also added that it's going to be a long speech. You got to be up there for so long. And he didn't want to hear the 45-minute speeches. And, you know, people talking, like he said, Hillbilly Jim talking for 45 minutes. Then he says, you know, he said that he talked for 45 minutes. And then he says, when Undertaker got in the Hall of Fame, he only got 15 minutes. He said, I'm not interested in this point. And like I said, it's not a disrespectful thing. It's just like I don't really see the benefits of it. And I kind of like doing the opposite things. Now, Chris Jericho, as we all know, is a legend in the wrestling business. He's been wrestling since 1990. He's wrestled for multiple promotions within WCW, of course, WWE. I think he was at ECW at one point. And then later on, he left WWE to do New Japan Pro Wrestling a little bit. He's currently in AEW. He was the first ever AEW World Champion, and of course, known as the Undisputed World Champion, as he stated for many years. He'll never make us forget that he beat The Rock and Stone Cold, you know, the same night to become the first ever Undisputed World Champion. But he said, despite all his accolades and everything he's done, that the Hall of Fame is not a big thing to him. He does not care that much. Now, I believe that Chris Jericho is full of it. He's only saying that because he's in AEW, and we know that AEW is not doing the best of things right now as far as business goes. It's been a lot of frustration. It's been a lot of people quitting, people getting released, and everything else of sort. So somewhere down the line, Chris Jericho is going to come back to WWE, just like Punk said he would never go back. Look at him. And Chris Jericho, first thing they're gonna do for you is put you in the Hall of Fame, just like they did Goldberg, just like they did Edge, just like they did Ultimate Warrior, Jeff Jarrett, and many others. You will fall in that category as well. So he's just saying that for now, maybe to save face because he's with AEW and he was there since day one. He is one of the people that started AEW from 2019. So I know also in the interview they stated that AEW is doing great within the past, 5 years, but we know that there's issues with AEW, and I will touch on that in a second. But it's amazing he think that a Hall of Fame don't mean nothing to him. I mean, Chris Jericho, that's all that's left for you. You've done everything else. You're a Triple Crown champion, I think a Grand Slam champion WWE, won every title you could think of, Intercontinental, United States Tag Team, World Champion. And the only thing he never done was win the Royal Rumble or the Money Bank contract, or King of the Ring. But you've done everything else that is to do. So, Chris Jericho, you're going to get in the Hall of Fame. You need to cut out the nonsense. Yeah. What's your take on this, good Brett?
Yeah, Jericho lying, bro. He's on the other side of the fence right now. That's the only reason why. Just like you said, look at the Jeff Jarretts. Look at the Ultimate Warriors. These are all people who not only did they come back, but they got thrown right into the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? Warrior, that is. Look at Macho Man in the Hall of Fame now. So, Jericho, you salty right now because y'all lost them Tuesday night. Y'all lost that Tuesday night war, and it been downhill ever since y'all lost that Tuesday night war, and in the public's eyes, that is. So, it'll be all right, Jericho, and you'll definitely be in, and you deserve to be in, Jericho. I think Jericho is the greatest living wrestler right now we have today. He's the greatest living wrestler right now. Look at this man's shape, bro. He's in shape, bro.
Yes, I agree. He's still going at 53 years old. He's never had any major injuries. Now, we just discussed Randy Orton and many others going through injuries when they get later at this career. But definitely, Chris Jericho, you're gonna go in the Hall of Fame. You are one of the GOATs, and that's just no way around it. And you're gonna come back to WWE at some given point. So he needs to stop that too. He'll be back with WWE. Come on,
man. When that Judas hit the WWE arena, everybody gonna lose their mind, bro. Everybody gonna lose their mind when that Judas effect hits the loudspeaker. And you see, he set a lot of trends too, because that's the reason why Seth got the sing-along entrance. It's because of the damage that Judas effect was doing to the arena. Like, oh man, when AEW first opened up, and man, you go back and watch the film and watch Jericho's entrance, what it did for that show and what it did to that audience. Man. Jericho, one of the greatest doing it.
Yes, sir. He's a living legend. Halatola Rock and Roller. So yeah, he's definitely going in there. So Chris Jericho, you're going to the Hall of Fame, and you know it. AEW told you to say that, to create a buzz, and of course, to make it seem like the Hall of Fame don't mean nothing. We know Tony Khan told you to say that, so we're good. We're good. We forgive you, but we know you coming back though. We know you coming back to WWE.
We know
and you'll be in the Hall of Fame.
And you'll win the Royal Rumble, bro.
Yes.
Not
if you
this
don't win,
year, though.
Yeah. Nope. No time soon. So enjoy being in AEW where the ship keep on sinking and sinking and sinking. So that's all we have regarding that story. Now to the main event. Well, double main event, I should say. We're going to the double main event, and I'll pull that up just a second.
If you just now watching, just now tuned into the stream, please hit that like button, show your support. And if you're new over here to the channel and you like good wrestling content, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell.
All right, all right. Thank you all for supporting. Thank you, Good Brand. Now we're part one of the double main event. The story that's breaking today, breaking. Major unhappiness within AEW following backstage firing. Major unhappiness within AEW following the firing of Kevin Sullivan. All Elite Wrestling is filled with negativity today, credits to Cutthaholic. Following the fire of Kevin Sullivan, the Vice President of Post-Production by Mike Manzuri. According to Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, Sullivan, who was an AEW original, joined the company after spending 14 years with TNA/Impact Wrestling, and he built the entire post-production team that was based in Nashville. The move will not affect AEW live production, but will have an impact on the video packages, promotional advertisements, and AEW Rampage. AEW Rampage does come on Friday evening. The negativity within AEW is twofold, though. It requires fueling unhappiness, the poor crowds at TV tables in North America, which has been a particular issue for AEW Collision since the show's premiere in June. So, while discussing AEW's successful year venue-wise, Meltzer said, and I quote, "They're grossing a lot of money. It's interesting today because I've gotten so much feedback from people in and around AEW, and it's a lot of negativity right now. And I think some of that stems from the show Saturday night. Obviously, it was a very poor crowd. It's interesting because there's a lot of negativity, while at the same time, the company's grossing more money by far than it ever has. The last couple months have been very, very successful in that sense. As far as turning profit, there's a very different story. As far as the value of the company, there's economic aspects of the company that really look good, but there's still there's still this feeling of negativity. Understandably, in wrestling, it's always who's number one, and they are far from number one right now. They were a lot more competitive in things like television ratings and attendance and things like that 18 months ago than they are now. Now that's funny. Chris Jericho just got off that interview with Inside Chris Van Fleet saying that they're doing better, that they exceeded expectations, and they're still doing good. Yet this article states that you fired a post-production guy who's there since day one, and your television ratings have gone down, and then your crowds at the TV taping shows such as Rampage Collision have been unhappy, and also it brings down the morale in the company. Now, Kevin Sullivan, for there's no confusion, this is not the same Kevin Sullivan who was a booker for WCW, formerly married to Nancy Sullivan, who eventually married Chris Benoit. There's a whole different Kevin Sullivan. I just want to notate that. But yeah, AEW is having major problems following the firing of a AEW original, as it stated here, a post-production guy. He's pretty much like the Kevin Dunn of AEW. Why would you fire him? What is the reason for that? You said it's going to be an impact on your video packages, promotional advertisements, and Rampage. With this news that's just been broken, I believe that this is the beginning of the end. And what I mean by that this company is literally on a clock. And when I mean that, it is going to be a countdown of when it's going to just end, when it's going to be done. It's just, I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a big thing going to blow up in AEW's face, and it's unfortunate because the company was doing so well, as stated before, and that's where I think it's headed right now. It's just going to go down. It's just ridiculous. I don't see this last much longer.
Crazy, man. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it's a countdown. It's only a matter of time. But yeah, it's done, man. I think it's going down. What is your take on this, Good Brad? Because this ship is definitely sinking.
Where there's smoke, there is fire. And we can see it in the product. Too many key figures are leaving that company easily. I never forget what Cody Rhodes said. He said it was an easy decision to make.
Not when you're a VP and you make a decision like that, you're giving your VP stature for just one of the boys. Yeah, something wrong over there. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of time.
And I believe too that I have stated this is WCW 2.0, but what I've also wanted to mention, this is also TNA 2.0. It's a combination of both. TNA, what I mean, is by the 2010 to 2015 when it started going down really hill during Dixie Carter's tenure. When you brought in Bischoff, Hogan, when you try to compete with Raw with Impact, when Dixie Carter was running things all over the place, being a very unprofessional businesswoman in the way you run a company. That's where I see AEW right now. It's a little bit of WCW and TNA, and I think that's where this is headed right now.
Good observation. I agree.
So it's only a matter of time where another major star is going to leave AEW once their contract is up, or they may just get fired like CM Punk, or that's it. But anyone that wants to come to AEW following this madness, you are desperate and you're foolish. So that's all I got to say about that. This is the end of this particular story. Major unhappiness within AEW following backstage firing. Now, with that being said, I'm going to pull up the other main event of today's show, and let's do that right now. Yeet. RIP to Yeet, because we won't be hearing that no more on TV. RIP to that. Breaking news, WWE and Jey Uso will branding Yeet due to trademark issues. Another pro wrestler has owned the Yeet phrase since 2021. Jey Uso and WWE have leaned hard into the Yeet catchphrase since the star broke away from the bloodline and became a singles act on SmackDown in the fall of, well, they meant to say 2023, 24 is not here yet, but well, must be an error typo. Let's see what it said. This SE Scoops made a mistake. Anyway, but will abandon the phrase because of a trademark issue on the word, according to WrestleVotes. Casey Huffman, a pro wrestler out of West Virginia, has owned a trademark to the word since 2021. Huffman owns the trademark to the phrase yeet as it pertains to. Let's see. Here is the paperwork here. So it says here, you guys can see there, it has the mark yeet. The application filing date is July 6, 2021. Service mark principal, and it says the status date May 22nd, 2023. Yeet 4 standard character mark. So this pretty much states that the yeet word is trademarked by Huffman, and this is the United States Patent Office. So meaning that the wrestler here, Casey Huffman, he owns the patent to yeet. If anyone, WWE or anywhere else, wants to use the word yeet on merchandise and sales, say it on TV, or try to market the word yeet, they will have to pay Mark Huffman because he has the ownership of this name through a trademark that was filed in July 6, 2021. And since he does own it, WWE has to stop using that word and stop merchandising it on t-shirts and anything else of sort. If not, you got the cease and desist letter, and you're going to get sued by Mr. Huffman because he owns the word. It says here, Jey Uso, Jamie Uso, and Roman Reigns used the yeet catchphrase during their time together in Bloodline. In summer 2023, Jey and Jimmy broke away from the group and feuded with Roman. The feud concluded SummerSlam with Jey Uso faced Reigns for the undisputed Universal Championship. During that match, Jimmy will return, cost his brother World Championship in a duo split with Jey moving to Raw, Jimmy staying on SmackDown. Upon moving to Monday Night Raw, Jey Uso continued the phrase. It was not only doing promos, like I said before, on t-shirts and other pieces of merchandise. Now, On this week's episode of Monday Night Raw, which was yesterday, the Jay's Yeet t-shirt was blurred out during a promo vignette hyping his main event match against Seth Rollins for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. However, the shirt's still available for sale on WWEshop.com. Jay's other moniker main event will continue to be a part of his presentation and merchandise moving forward. So if you want that Yeet shirt while still available, you can purchase it, because it's going to be gone and they can no longer be used. So the Yeet cannot be used. Rest in peace to the word Yeet. Jay Uso cannot say that word anymore. No, matter of fact, no one in WWE can say that anymore. That is interesting. I never thought that would happen, because I was starting to say Yeet myself and it was getting popular. So, Mr. Goodbread, what's your take on the word Yeet being abandoned due to trademark issues?
Yeet, 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 yeet. God damn. Man, it was picking up, man. It definitely was picking up. How criminal is that? Now, I don't know if it's a coincidence or if it's a swipe. If it's one of those side swipes, you know, how they do. The bigger markets and the bigger channels, they get a lot of good concepts and great topics and ideas from the smaller channels, the independent guys, and then they go push it in front of their audience. And I think WWE needs to just pay the man. Pay the man so y'all can keep it. Buy the rights from him. You know what I mean? But again, you know, if they didn't make it up, they ain't create it, then they don't really like to use it. They don't like to give it credit. But it's definitely hot.
Yeah, because I went to Survivor Series War Games this year in Chicago, and every time Jay Uso would attack someone during the match, the whole crowd, including myself, said Yeet. And now we can't even say no more, because he's no longer allowed to use that word, because it's trademarked by someone else who owned it since 2021, which is Casey Huffman. So, unfortunately, that's nothing WWE can do. Like you said, Goodbread, either pay the man or stop using the word altogether. And they're going to stop altogether, because they do not want to pay that man. And he should get paid if he owned it that long. And I also believe that the Usos or whoever in WWE, they saw that man use that word on independent scene, and because he was not nowhere near the name of stature that WWE and the Usos are, that he would ignore it and not say nothing. So WWE, you guys are not slick.
Dag, man. It's crazy. But again, they should just pay. Just buy it out.
Yeah, it's only fair to do that. Now, if he had just owned it maybe 6 months ago to a year, fine. But for 2 years now, you knew this man owned this name. Put some respect on his name. He owns the name. In fact, definitely put some respect on it. But no more Yeet. WWE Jey Uso will have to abandon it due to the trademark issue. And that's all I have.
WWE, they know full and well about copyright infringement and getting served cease and desist notices, because they served the Young Bucks a while back with a cease and desist on that Too Sweet and the Bullet Club concept. So they know. Pay that man.
Yep. Like Rihanna said, you better have my money. But other than that, that is all the news I have for today. I know we had a lot, just like yesterday, similar to yesterday with the locker room. Didn't take as long, but we are going to exit the lockers. This is all the news for the locker room of wrestling news. You guys, we're going to exit the lockers. We'll get back to you guys. Get back to work. Get back to relaxing, or get back to whatever you guys do. Enjoy the rest of your guys' day. Soon, 2 videos will pop up for Locker Room of Wrestling News on Toxic Ring. One will be former women's champion has problems with Bayley. Another video will be the real story behind Nancy Benoit. Until then, it is old.